how you can awaken to a higher state of consciousness, pierce the illusion of matter and become aware of your innate divinity, become aware of the fact that you are the universe experiencing itself subjectively through a multitude of perspectives. How can you do that? Well, when you wake up in the morning, first and foremost, you're surrounded by these physical objects, right? You're surrounded by walls, floors, ceilings, windows, furniture, and then people to distract. You've got this infinite array of objects that are totally restricting your scope and perspective. Like, you are actually spinning around on a microscopic rock in space, right? Surrounding you is an infinite void. Like, I mean, when you go out at night, which is probably rare for many people, like, you have to be out in nature and just look up. It's an incredible display of stars and these incredible father fountains of life, right? We won't get too spiritual in this video, of course we will. I always say that. But, you know, the point is, like, we are human beings, so we are Homo sapiens, right? We're supposed to be sapient, right? So that would mean, surely, first and foremost, questioning the nature of your reality, questioning where you are, what you are, how you got here, how you can even see the world around you, right? And then all the scientists and the atheists come in and say, well, it's this, and the light comes in, the retina, and it flips it, right? Get rid of all of this, like, excessively empirical scientific way of thinking. Simply get out into nature, start to stimulate the dormant mental faculties, all of these incredible superpowers that left at the door of Western education. And slowly but surely, this awe, this humility, this reverence will start to build inside you. And this is actually a sort of like archetype. This is a certain way of thinking. Like, if you think of the masculine and the feminine, the left and the right brain hemisphere, right? The left brain could be a match and the right brain could be a matchbox. You've got to strike those things together and you will have illumination. You will have mental stimulation. You will have the Krishna spirit, Kundalini will raise within you. You will become aware that you are far more than you've been taught to believe, okay? You will start to stoke the fires and experience what is called the chemical wedding. And once you've done that, you can only really see that it was because of the way that you're using your brain, right? It's the way that you're using your mind. And people like these poets and philosophers, Friedrich Nietzsche, all this whole class of philosophers and poets have reached this state of awareness, not through any means of science. Indeed, a lot of these Indian mystics are country bumpkins out in nature. You know, they don't know anything of science or technology, but you don't need to, right? To expand in awareness, to become more compassionate, to become more understanding, to become more aligned to the true nature of reality, so that we can all start to alleviate the problems that we see on this world. So, as Martin Luther King said, no, not Martin Luther King said, William Blake said, to the eyes of imagination, nature is imagination itself. So it's the imagination that's absolutely fundamentally key here. And unfortunately, throughout Western education, the imagination has been kind of fractured. So say architecture, I'm an architect, I went through the training and everything. Now you're using your imagination, which is great, but you're using it, you're sort of outsourcing it into a building, right? But it needs to involve you. You need to be at the center of your imaginings. And so, you know, it's more like that sense that you get on New Year's Eve, that sense that you get when you're on a plane, that sense you get when you're on the beach, that sense when you're on the top of a mountain, that's, you know, that sense that you get when you're at a cemetery. That transcends, you begin to think, oh God, you know, what is going on? Like, you'll feel it. It's a feeling. It's not something that's to be intellectualized. It's absolutely something that will be consumed by your soul. Like, you'll feel differently about the way that you begin to think. And this is sort of like expanding a balloon, which will eventually get popped. And when that pops, you'll know about it, right? As they've depicted in various films like The Truman Show, even Inception, and of course The Matrix, Solaris, another one. So many films have been depicting this, but of course many people don't understand consciousness, or at least the study of awareness and all of this spirituality and all this stuff, because we haven't been taught about it from school. We've just been taught how to be a slave. In fact, it's more like we've been trained. We haven't been educated. We've been taught what to think and not to think. If we could just go out into nature, and this is really how we can awaken to a higher level of consciousness. Go out into nature, go out by yourself. Don't take your phone, don't take your laptop. See what you begin to think about. Start journaling it, right? I mean, it'll take a while for your brain to stop sort of going through all the stuff that you've been going through in your daily life, all the dramas, all of that will fall away. And you know, before you know it, you'll be confronted with this absolute mystery. And from that point onwards, you will be amazed at what will start happening to you. Anyway, so that's really the crux of my video here, is the power of the imagination, intuition, and those things can be absolutely stimulating. When they do, you will pierce the illusion of matter and become aware that you are actually the universe. Sounds pretty trippy, but I think a lot of you on this channel, if you found this video, are probably already somewhere along the path, and you've become aware of the darkness in society. And the spiritual journey is not an easy one, but if you resonate with this kind of information, do stick around, do check out what we're doing at newearth.land, which is ultimately about liberating us all from the shackles of materialism, the shackles of capitalism, and this rent slavery, this sort of general social atmosphere of invisible chains, right? Invisible servitude. The 9 to 5, the rat race, that's what we're resolving here at newearth.land. So do check that out in more detail if you get a chance. newearth.land. Thanks very much for watching.